The Senate will now come to order. The Pledge of Allegiance will now be led by Chief of Staff Thornton, followed by a moment of silence and reflection.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the reflection.
The clerk will call the roll. Please don't forget to say proxy for the people that you are proxying for.
Aloko, Anderson, Aldinger, Venegas, Fraser, Fulham, Koviak, Cumby, Sapolito, Davis, DiLorenzo, Dorsey, Dorsnowski, Freer, Fry, Bobbin, Gay, George, Nopel, Hopkins, Hunter, Iftikhar, Jacobson, Cassetti, Keenan, Kern, Kirby, Lemery, Lewis, Leslie, Matthews, Manwaring, Middleton, Modica, Montepuscia, Pigford, Primus, Ryan, Dams, Sanders, Santiago Cedillo, Sheridan, Bergen, Silkirk, Tapia, Kawaka, Violet, Von Cannon, Walker, Watley.
Is there a proxy for Von Cannon? Proxy here. Has everybody answered? Okay. With a quorum being present, is there a motion to approve the Journal of October 29th, 2025 as found online? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are now in line for general orders of the Senate, beginning with reports from Senate leadership. Speaker Pro Tempore Violet, you are recognized.
Hey everyone, I got a little bit to go over today, so I'll try and make it quick. Rules went over 7 pieces of legislation. We approved 4 pieces, which will hit the first reading calendar today. We denied 3 pieces of legislation. We denied a resolution to invite the Student Bar Association president to address the Senate. This failed because it does not meet the parameters of a resolution as described in the rules of procedure, and this also could have just been an email to the speaker. We also denied a recommendation to establish a student shuttle or local partnership for the USC Lancaster campus, which failed just because we are only representatives of USC Columbia. And we failed a recommendation to host an annual end-of-year student government dinner and banquet because we already have that. It's called the Conference. As for Faculty Senate, they met at 2:30 today in Russell Theater. The provost went on to discuss some student course experience surveys, which I know Courtney has a bunch more information about. Dr. Hine, Chair of Faculty Senate, spoke on continuing accessibility and Word and PowerPoint documents for students and encouraging faculty members to attend CTE meetings about accessibility. And from a survey from Dr. Hine, faculty senators shared interest in discussing AI in teaching, political intrusions into teaching, teaching freedoms, inclusivity on campus, digital accessibility, protecting tenure, civics and discourse on campus, and AI in research. They also discussed potentially integrating AI into teaching and incorporating topics like AI integration into the faculty manual. They also discussed how some states are passing laws dissolving public institutions' faculty senates. And my last 2 things, absence policy. If you leave committee, your absences in committee still stand and do not go away unless you attend an absence forgiveness event. And finally, we are starting our delegation report this week. And with that, I yield my time to questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Academics Committee. Chairperson Koviak, you are recognized. Actually, really quickly, shameless crow to Chairperson Koviak. They won a first-gen student award this weekend, so please everybody give them a round of applause. Woo! Senate excellence outside of Senate. It's like beyond the classroom, but for Senate, beyond the chambers.
Thanks for the embarrassment. Yeah, so on that front, just want to give apologies if you needed me. You emailed me this weekend and I was very MIA. I was at a conference and then that. So if I also did reply and I seemed like half aware of myself, that's also why. Apologies. But that being said, academics met at the normal time, led by my lovely vice chair. Kept it going while I was not here. So we looked at a couple pieces of legislation. As of right now, the only thing that's kind of like of note, I guess, that's just normal comments, was SBL 117. Just a recommendation to carry over to develop an amendment with the sponsoring senator. But everything else was found favorable. And then just talking about things that we're all working on. So otherwise, the only other thing is just to look at the two pieces that we will have coming back up on the second reading calendar from the committee. So past that, I yield my time to questions.
The chairperson yields their time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Finance Committee. Chairman Matthews, you are recognized. Senator Pickford is here.
Good evening. Last Friday, we reviewed $6,130.84 of requests, and of that approved $6,054.84. Besides that, we reviewed 4 pieces of legislation. 3 were found favorable, 1 with amendment, an additional 1 with an amendment. And this amendment was to, I think, 126. We just added back the 5-day university rules. We added back the rule, or at least made it more clear that organizations had to submit requests. There was a hard deadline for 5 university days prior to the last Senate session. And then we just added back parts of the definitions for conferences and tournaments that were removed in the bill. Besides that, that was it. I yield to questions.
The chairman yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We're now in line for a report from the Judiciary Committee. Chairwoman Diapolito, you are recognized.
Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Judiciary met on Friday at 12:30, our usual meeting time. We went over SBL 117, 123, and 125. Both were found unanimously favorable with 1 abstention. We also did research on whether or not we should change the qualifications to move legislation to the contested calendar. After reviewing both federal and state documents, we found that what we have right now in our codes equally aligns with those documents that were reviewed, so no changes will be made on that front. We're also looking for any ideas, whether it be something added, removed, changed, or moved around in the code. So if you have anything that pertains to that, reach out to me or one of our members, or join Judiciary. I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Liberties and Representation Committee. Chairwoman Hopkins, you are recognized.
Hi, everyone. We met at our usual time, Monday at 4, and we had a bit of a longer meeting. We covered 2 pieces of legislation, 123 and 125, both of which were found unanimously favorable. And let's see, we have a piece of legislation hitting the floor today, so you'll hear from me and Senator Tapia later. And then we also worked on creating a plan for this tabling event that we want to hold in a few weeks. We drafted out a plan, and we are going to send it to everyone who needs to be notified, probably by Friday. So, yeah, I yield the remainder of my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Chairwoman Anderson, you are recognized.
Hi guys, Powers met at 5:15 on Monday, and we voted on SBL 117, 123, and 125, and both were found unanimously favorable. We had 3 interviews this week. I'll be requesting an extension on all 3. 2 of them are scheduled for this Friday, and one have a vacant Senate seat wait list. So these people, should they be found favorable, will be joining another senator on that wait list. And with that, I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for a report from the Health and Safety. Your rec. Don't why. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you for recognizing me. We met last Wednesday after Senate, and we had quite a few pieces of legislation. We found 120, 123, and 125 all unanimously favorable. We did find 121 unfavorable due to lack of clarity. Readers were very confused, and the objective of the legislation was not identifiable. And just want a more detailed plan of what policies are not being streamlined. And also like what kind of was the catalyst for this piece of legislation. We're just a little bit confused about that. But we're gonna reach out to the author and hopefully figure that out. Next week we have our lovely little programming week. It's gonna be so fun. It is all Senate attendance excusal events, so like y'all should definitely come. It's gonna be Tuesday from 4 to 6 in Russell House 305. We have a self-defense class. It's with USCPD, so like really good news there. And then we'll be tabling Wednesday and Thursday of next week to give free test kits out along with covers. So stay safe and come see us, please. And then for legislation, we're researching healthier vending machine alternatives and excited to get more updates on that. Also, possibly looking at impounded bikes that are left over at like the end of the school year, maybe like making like a bike rental thing with students. So really excited about that. And then also going to be researching possibly having like sunscreen dispensers here. That was presented by Senator Venegas, so like really excited on that. But yeah, I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for a report from the Student Life Committee. Chairman Spurgeon, you are recognized.
We met at our normal time, found everything favorable, 116 mural, 119, 123, and 125. Any other questions? Oh, I do want to give an update, sorry.
Ah.
All right. A piece that was passed a little while ago that I think everyone could have an update on about the game day stuff that is still being worked on, not lost, and I hope to get something concrete soon for the next semester, and hopefully more of it's close. I have questions.
The chairman yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now here to report from the Sustainability Committee. Chairwoman Gopal, you are recognized.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. We had our regular meeting on Monday at 6:30. We reviewed SBL 117, 118, 123, and 125 and found them all favorable, and I do not have any updates this week. I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now report from our Senate delegation. Senator Talaka, you're recognized to speak on the McCausland College of Arts and Sciences.
So right now, we're still working on sending out a survey for students in the College of Arts and Sciences. The survey would pretty much ask them what issues they're having on campus, and we'd ask them like their opinions on future legislation. Once that's done, you can expect to see more recommendations coming from the senators in the College of Arts and Sciences. And yeah, we haven't done much right now. Oh,
You yield your time to questions? Okay. The delegation chair yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the College of Engineering Computing delegation. Senator Jacobson, you are recognized.
Hello. The NCEC delegation has been working hard to reach out to other Molina Rowley College of Engineering Computing student organizations, as we feel that's a good way to get ideas for new legislation. We're particularly excited about SBL 117-100 that just passed. It was the one to establish a bus line from Closeup to Swearingen. It was particularly helpful for our constituents. And we've also been looking into the possibility of legislation to fix the vending machines in Swearingen. It's on our docket, and which take it into any stuff that would be helpful. With my friend's question.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now hear a report from the Arnold College of Public Health. Senator George, you are recognized.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. So at a retreat, we talked about increasing awareness of public health clubs around campus. And so we've been working on emailing a bunch of club presidents and heads to organize more tabling for them throughout the semester and throughout the year. So we've been working on that. We're also, Arnold at the college has been doing a capsule. We actually did it a couple weeks ago. And we're also planning a professional development workshop at the end of the year. So I have any questions.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the College of Education. Senator Hunter, you are recognized. You're sorry.
Well,
I just really like it, yeah.
I'm appreciative. Howdy, y'all. So, biggest thing with education is I wanted to go active in the process of figuring out what problems they have. I am not a part of the School of Education. I wish I was, because I've actually met two great people with it. One's a student, and then one is actually one of my old professors. There's a lady named Emily Phillip. She's actually becoming an elementary school teacher, which is very admirable, because goodness gracious, I could not do that for 5 minutes and get paid. So, but biggest thing that she and both my professor came up with is cleanliness. I never would have expected that that would be one of the bigger issues, but truly just having the yards cleaned and the building pressure washed was one of the biggest things that they said, because if you physically look at Wardlaw, it looks old. It is, but the thing is you can make anything look better if you just give it a little bit of shine, that nice little new touch to it. So even a 100-year-old building can look brand new. I mean, see what we've done to Russell House. A couple new coats of paint and it already looks brand new. So that's the biggest thing that I'll be trying to figure out. I'd love to write a piece of legislation that's as good as the quality as we've had with the mural underneath the bridge, just to get a company in, figure out who that is, how much it's going to cost, who's going to pay for it, and what happens with that. And shoot, if it needs to be me on an afternoon and a couple buddies, we'll get it done. So yeah, that's all I got, and I yield my time to questions.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions?
Awesome, y'all made it easy on me.
Seeing none, thank you. And also, definitely a new Russell House would be really nice. Just putting it out there. Definitely still a priority. We will now hear a report from the College of Information and Communications. Senator Iftikhar, you are recognized.
To the College of Information and Communication, we've actually been working on some legislation to help the students, and I'm a part of the College of Information and Communications myself, but one big piece of concern that we heard is the lack of attention towards resources, and that's something that we're trying to work up, and we're trying to talk to the creative survey and figure out what's the job for this, and then work over that. So you might have a question.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Freshman Council. Are there any representatives present? Y'all are recognized.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cameron Smith, and I'm the Secretary of the Social Life Committee on Freshman Council.
Hi, my name is Kinsley Green. I am the Tenant Liaison for the Health and Wellness Committee on Freshman Council. With Health and Safety Committee. So one of our first events, we've been talking about a mocktail night later on this fall. We still need to estimate on the cost, and we're planning on getting drink covers and different pricing tips. The idea of this event is that we want to raise awareness of the ease of spiking and resources that are available for students on campus. This event is planned to actually occur more so around next February. And from the next event from Health and Safety is a brain food bar. The idea of that one is just to work with academic committee to help students have resources for when they're feeling stressed out during that time period of finals. And then the third event for Health and Safety Committee is going to be a movement and medicine event. This one is still really in the works. The idea of this event is to combine different dance cultural organizations with our committee so that we can work to make some kind of week-long itinerary of different events
for students to go to when they're feeling stressed during finals in the next semester.
And then from Liberties and Representations, they are working with the USC transit system to better understand it, make it more accessible for our students. And then they're also planning a spooky tweets and suggestions. Actually, they already did that, and it was a great success. So congratulations to them. They were the first committee to perform an event.
In addition to that, the academics committee has an ongoing event currently. They are doing the full supplies drive. The box is in the back of the LLC, and we'll be there until 13. So if anyone wants to donate to that, please, we would really appreciate it. If anyone has any questions about that, our contact is Julia Harrell from the Freshman Council Academic Committee. And then they are also, like I mentioned previously, having an event plan during finals week. So they are promoting study habits during this brain food part that we mentioned previously in partnership with the Health and Safety Committee.
And then Sustainability is currently working on planning a tabling event, and they're going to hand out seed paper ornaments to be planted after Christmas that will grow wildflowers in the springtime to raise awareness for thrifting and sustainability in general, and that'll be on December 2nd on Green Street. And they're also planning a sustainable thrift pop-up for next semester on February 17th that will be on Green Street as well, and there will be more details when they find it.
So next up, Student Life Committee has continued to work with their first event of the year, which is Final Fuel Station. And this will be occurring from December 5th to the 11th on Davis Field. From 11 to 2, sorry. We will provide hot chocolate for students during the exam season. And then our chair has also opened up, or their chair has opened up, a Fund of Genius that will be shared in the Student Government Freshman Council, just in case everyone wants to participate in that event. And they are inviting anyone to participate from any branch of the government.
And then Freshman Council has recently named a new committee, and that is a collaborative committee with Clemson University Freshman Council. And last night they had their first virtual meeting with the fellow council members, and they look forward to learning about one another's student government systems and possibly collaborating with Habitat for Humanity. And now we yield our time to questions.
The representatives yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Great job, guys. We will now hear a report from the Constitutional Council. Chief Justice Butcher, you're recognized.
Hey y'all, hope everyone's having a great week. I have some non-substantial edits for y'all to vote on today. So in 1317B, changing the number 5 to number 7 for like the 4 enumerated positions plus 3 discretionary as outlined in the code. The number was just, the math was wrong. Relettering 2940 for consistency because some of the letters got off and there's some duplicates. And then adding the Speaker of before Office of the Senate in 2-940 tab. I yield my time to questions.
The Chief Justice yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now hear a report from the Speaker of the Student Senate. I actually don't really have that many updates. Anything that was passed up until last week has been fully signed, updated in the legislative update. If you have any questions about any of that, let me know. Any questions about anything in the drive, let me know. If you don't get the post-Senate email tonight, please let me know, or if you need help getting added into your committee group meetings. Courtney's going to talk more about it during her report, but I just wanted to double mention, you're going to hear it probably 4 times in the next 10 minutes, Stuff the Bus. It's going to be tomorrow from 12 to 4. There's multiple different opportunities and ways that you can give back, whether that's actually volunteering or just donating food. But the food banks in Columbia are facing a critical shortage of literally everything. I volunteer at Harvest Hope, and they're quite literally running out of food to give to communities in the Columbia area that need the food, as well as students are facing increasing barriers in accessing food and being able to have the financial means to access this. I say before, like anything student government, you literally just need to take a picture and send it to us, and you'll get an unexcused absence excused. I really want to emphasize this one specifically. All you need to do is donate at least 3 canned food items. So it could be a box of pasta, a can of beans, and a thing of like canned fruit. And that would be a full Senate absence that you could totally just skip and do whatever you want. And you get to give back food to a community member in need. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend donating some food or volunteering or doing both. I won't be able to be there, unfortunately, because I'm going to be at clinicals, but I went personally and got a lot of canned food items that I will be donating personally, and I hope to see every single person in this room doing the same. With that, I yield my time to questions. Any questions? Sorry, that was like really serious. I'm not mad at you guys. I'm just saying it's really easy to get a Senate absence excused. Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the student body treasurer. Treasurer Ashley Reynolds, you are recognized.
Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. I'm going to be going over reimbursements today, like slightly more in depth because the way we get our reports into here are different than just like an open closed ticket number. So we have 4 different statuses that reimbursements can be in this year. It's awaiting assignment, so it's been submitted, it hasn't been assigned to a finance team member yet. Assigned, so it has been assigned to a finance team member and it's being worked on. Submitted, so passed the finance team member and submitted to payment, and then closed. So this week we have 1 awaiting assignment for $3,600, 4 assigned for $10,700, 6 submitted for $1,400, and then 11 have been closed for $11,000. So yeah, that's an update on reimbursements. And then also, so this is the 15th year of Pillars. If you guys know what that is, it started as a student government initiative, and now it's completely self-sustaining. And so we will be working with them and having a percent night next Thursday at Village Idiot. And the proceeds from that will go to them to help them fund their events and their staff for the rest of the year. So please keep an eye out for more information on that. It'll be a lot of fun. And then again, Stuff the Bus is tomorrow. It's so exciting. We'll be there. I hope to see you guys there. Wear your student government shirts. Shameless plug to your friends. Yeah, and with that, I yield my time to questions.
The treasurer yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Lemery.
You ordered a student government shirt? I don't know if they're in yet. That'd be a question for Jordan when he comes up here.
Or not in yet, right? Not yet. Yeah. But you'll be able to just get them in the LSC by just asking when to be exact. Senator Hunter.
Next Thursday.
And guess what? You take a picture and you can prove that you were there on the Thursday night. Excused absence, guys.
The one at 5 points.
Yeah. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for a report from the student body vice president. Vice President Jordan Richardson, you are recognized.
Hey y'all. T-shirts, I don't know if, sorry, mine just went quickly. T-shirts are ordered, they're on the way. Should be here next Thursday. I'll let you know as soon as they come in. And I'll have time to come pick them up. We are having a mini little sustainability week this next week, which is super exciting. So I think some things are on the screen there. I'm not going to pull you guys and read them all out, but there's some of our events. I don't think we'll need help with volunteering, but show up, get pictures, you can get a free thing. So
Yeah, that's what I would have said.
Yeah.
You took the words out of my mouth.
so yeah, super excited about that. Stuff the Bus is tomorrow. I sent out a sign-up genius, so please sign up to volunteer, bring donations. Super excited. It's gonna be a great time. Last year it was a great event. We had buses full, so hopefully we can get the same thing tomorrow. So hope to see you guys all there. Anything else? So I yield my time to questions.
The vice president yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Sanders.
It is a, I think it's self-defense class. I'm pretty sure. This was like that class with class and thing.
Reading Group X is like the fitness classes at Stronger.
That's what it is. Yeah. I don't think it's, I'll have to ask my programming director. She was the one that did it, and if it's Group X, he's the one that put this whole thing together. So I'll ask her and get back to it.
Senator Talaka. Fitness classes. Y'all want to get in shape before Thanksgiving? Any questions? Senator Santiago.
Just bring him out to Green Street if you can, or if you can't, we can also have a bus there at the parking and transportation office on Easy Street, and it's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day till Friday. So we'll be open all week, but if you have time, stop by.
Also, if you know where my office is, if you just leave my desk, I don't want you to put them on Courtney's desk, but if you just leave stuff on my desk, I can get them to the right place. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for a report from the student body president. President Courtney Cox, you are recognized.
Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. Stuff the bus! Stuff the bus! You guys have heard it 4 times. Again, tomorrow on Green Street, Chuck 4. Parking transportation until 5. The additional part is if you know anybody that cannot be there, cannot donate items, but want to help participate in any way, the governor has put out a statement regarding the 1SC fund. He has activated the 1SC fund to make sure that our food pantries are being filled across the state. So if that is something that your parents or friends or supporters or anybody wants to help with, you can send them that link, and that money will go towards, again, filling food pantries across the state. Some fun little things that I have been involved in the past week. I was in a stakeholder meeting for the Main Street development and talked about what could Main Street look like. And I would love to hear y'all's ideas too. If you guys have any idea about that stretch, what you guys imagine that being like. And then very similarly, I was in the Master Mobility Plan stakeholder meeting. So talking about parking, transportation, safety on game days, parking garages, basically anything and everything you can think of. I brought up the nursing building and the traffic going to the nursing building and how can we fix that? I don't really know, but I brought it up. Additionally, I met with the vice provost today. We talked about advising, both regular advising and honors advising, with some concerns that I've been hearing from students regarding the process of advising, having more support regarding advising. We talked about survey week and Explorance Blue, and how can faculty push students to complete their surveys. The big one that I brought up today, which is very interesting, and people on my staff brought it up to me, was AI in the classroom, and what do we do with students that have ethical concerns regarding AI? This is something that I had never really considered, especially if it was a class that you had signed up for, not knowing that you had to use AI, and then suddenly you did. So we kind of talked about how do we navigate that, how do we give tips to students to decrease their usage of AI, so if they have to use it once or twice in a classroom, it is not creating a substantial environmental impact. But more to come on that. That was definitely an interesting conversation. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate you. Additionally, I'm still in conversations regarding the campus activity fee in Russell House, but if you would like to make your voice heard, I have a Russell House expansion committee this Friday, 12:45 to 1:45 in the LSC. So I already know that a lot of you guys will be there, and I will pull you into the meeting when I see you. But we're going to be going over the logistics of Russell House, how can we keep one part open while renovating another part, expanding another part. What can that look like? Additionally, I spoke at Faculty Senate today about Explorance Blue, but the part that really interested me, which I think is very good for Senate to know, is one of the nursing faculty members came up to me and talked to me about the standardized grading that a lot of students in Senate have been pushing for. So just keep pushing for that. Apparently, there are a lot of faculty members that are on board with that, and they would like to hear your guys' voice, your data, your information regarding standardized grading system. Again, for anybody that doesn't quite know where that originated from, some classes were on a 92 to 100 with an A grading scale, whereas others was a 90 to 100 grading scale. So making sure that's standard. Some things coming up. I'm visiting USC Beaufort next week. If there's anything at USC Beaufort that you're like, I really like that, or I want to know more about that, let me know. I'm going to be kind of working with them too, for supporting our system schools. Forever to Be rivalries coming up in 2 weeks. More info to come on that next week. At the very end of Forever to Be rivalry week, we have our student tailgate at Coastal Carolina. I went to the Alabama one, which was just open to student leaders, but just in that time, I was able to connect with the president, upper administration. But the really, really cool part about this one is this is open to all students and will be marketed to all students. So this is a great way to connect with your constituents, especially your veterans constituents, because it's a veterans alumni tailgate. So if you are interested in that, please, please, please sign up. Again, you don't have to be there the whole time. You can come for 5 minutes, say hi, meet someone, and then go to your other 7 tailgates that you have that day. As far as some things in cabinet, again, I'm gonna keep it short. I'm trying to pick a few every single week. My Greek life and IT and infrastructure are working on a programming event with our new assistant vice president of career readiness on a programming event called Leading Beyond Letters, career readiness for Greek life members. We're starting with our primary 4 councils and then going to expand that outward to pre-professional organizations as well. We'll be tabling on November 11th with the Department of Veterans and Military Affairs, as well as the Student Veterans Association. And transfer students are going to do a walk to Tiger Burn together. So I'm really excited. Yes, I think that's it. That'll yield my time to questions.
The student body president yields for time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Backtracking, if you wanted to volunteer for Stuff the Bus, that's what that QR code is, so. If anybody wants to volunteer, 12 to 4. Yes, Senator Benegas. Great, awesome. We are now in line for special orders of the Senate. Are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Constitutional Counsel regarding non-substantial edits to the code.
The question is of the approval of non-substantial edits to the codes en bloc. All those in favor say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it, the edits are approved. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee requesting a 1-week extension for the following interviews: Anna Littlefield, Jamie Ryan, and Turner Wilson.
The question is of the approval of interview extensions en bloc. All those in favor say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it, the extensions are granted. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate regarding vacant seat application, Logan Seitler.
The nominee is referred to the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read. Hearing no more special orders of the Senate, we are now in the motion period. Are there any motions on the floor at this time? Senator Violette. There's been a motion to add Speaker Pro Tempore Violette to the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Chairperson Koviak. Just carry over. There's been a motion to carry over SBL 117. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. The legislation is carried over to next week. Senator Matthews. Does the sponsor find this amendment friendly or unfriendly? Seeing as the sponsor has found this amendment friendly, it is now adopted to the legislation. Are there any other motions? Senator Spurgeon. There's been a motion to remove Chairman Spurgeon from the Judiciary Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Any other motions on the floor? Seeing no more motions, is there a motion to dispense of this motion period? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are now on the call of the introduction to new legislation. The clerk will now read.
SBL 117-127, sponsored by the Finance Committee, the recommendation to permit the Finance Committee to allocate funds.
The sponsors are recognized.
Hello. We approved $6,058.04 for the organization built in the bill. I yield the question.
The chairman yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Jacobson. There's been a motion to pass SBL 117-127 by unanimous consent. Seeing no objections, this legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-128, sponsored by Senator Tapia and Chairwoman Hopkins, a recommendation to implement the donations for citations program.
The senators are recognized.
Hi, everyone. So this has been a working process, definitely. We met with the director of parking, we talked to him so many times, it's really goodness. And we finally drafted up a
proposal that he could get behind, and he's been in communication with the community shop as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also saw that other institutions schools were implementing this into their universities. We wanted to see if they would be okay with this. I'm recommending this as a whole.
Yeah, so this will be a thing 4 times a year. It'll help people get out of their citations and also help restock the food pantry, the community shop, and help students who need a little extra help. So I think all around good things. Anything else to add? We yield the questions.
The senators yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Aloka.
Hopefully by next semester, we're supposed to meet back with them next week to meet with the entire citation team to explain it not just to Brian, but also to his team and how we could go about implementing it. So I'm hoping by next semester.
Senator Aloka.
Yeah. It's only for as long as it's valid before it goes up. Sorry, we had to please him a bit, you know?
But you can still donate food for no benefit of your own at Stuff the Bus tomorrow from 12 to 4. So, any other questions? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Health and Safety Committee. Good job, Senator Tapia. First time presenting, right? All right. Continuing on with the call of the new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SCL 117-129, sponsored by School of Music Delegation, a resolution to celebrate the 105th anniversary of the Carolina Band.
The delegation is recognized.
Yeah, this is pretty simple. It's a basic resolution, honoring the Carolina Band here. So, yeah, their 105th anniversary. It's pretty simple, not too hard anything. We're going to have more pieces coming hopefully next week, but we have some questions.
The senators yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Fry. There's been a motion to pass SBL 117-129 by unanimous consent. Okay. Any other questions? Senator Lewis, you're still in the question period for your piece of legislation. Any other questions? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Student Life Committee. Now y'all can sit down. Continuing on with the call of the new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117-130, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a recommendation to expand and upgrade the use of water fountains with bottle fillers in older campuses.
Senator Lewis, you are recognized.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty simple recommendation for some people to understand here. But basically what it's saying is that we want to put water bottle filters on our water station in some of our older buildings. For example, like Gambrel, the Humanities Classroom building. So I think it's a great idea. I don't want to put my bottle up with someone wrapping their lips around water fountains. To me, that's pretty, nasty, So I'm just going to be honest with you. And with that, I'm going to yield the well.
Okay. Continuing on with the call of the new legislation, the clerk will now, the legislation is referred to the Sustainability Committee. Chairwoman Diapolito. Okay. Legislation was referred to the Sustainability Committee. Continuing on with the call of the new legislation, the clerk will now read. Hearing none, we are now on the call of the uncontested legislation. The clerk will now read.
SBL 117-116, sponsored by Senators Walker, Violette, Salaka, Fry, Ipsicard, Von Cannon, Jacobson, Sands. The recommendation to paint a mural in the Darla Moore School of Business.
All the sponsors are recognized.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So this time, I want to be a little bit more specific with some of the things regarding this legislation. One of the senators last time asked me what exactly is mural. So I have the exact breakdown from the designer attached. So I'm going to go over it briefly, each section that she has. First section is going to be origins and founding. That's the theme surrounding it. So her theme is birth of the university, heritage, and legacy. She even has the color, style, and visual ideas. I'm not going to get into it for time's sake. I'm just giving you the brief thing. But if you want it, please feel free to reach out, and I will email this to you. The second one is growth and tradition. The theme will be expanding campus, athletic legacy, and academic excellence. The third section will be student life and spirit. The theme is energy, creativity, diversity of campus experiences. The fourth is innovation and discovery. The theme is modern USC with research, technology, and sustainability. Section 5 will be diversity and community. The theme is the next generation of USC, of the possibility, pride, and vision. And then, so that's the theme. If you want more specifics, she has the colors, everything, what exactly is going to be drawn. Please feel free to reach out regarding that. Okay, so back to the plan. I reached out to Jason Lambert and Justin Shinta this past week. After I had reached out to Sam Powell, checking up on our process, Sam Powell notified me that she will have her actual draft of the designs ready for revision and to be sent on December 1st this year. So that's exciting. I emailed Jason Lambert and Justin Shinta they were facilities and would notify them of this because I always give them updates. They said they're very happy to see it. So that's great news also. And as I have said, Sam Powell's the designer. Potential painters, as I said before, that will be provided by Megan Bickle, I think is how you say it. So she'll be providing students from the School of McMaster. And I didn't say this before, but the design, once it's done, it has to be approved by facilities, campus architect, and people within the School of Marketing. Luckily, facilities was willing to get all of them together, and I don't have to do all the work. So they all will be reviewing the legislation together at the same time. I'm not legislation, I'm so sorry, guys. The design together of the mural. And then once that happens, facilities will go in choosing the date that they want this done. I'm looking to the spring of next year, but is that feasible? I'm not sure because they have like coating on the walls, like you can't like paint on top of it. So facilities will be the ones to remove this, and they are fully on board with removing the paint and like getting new and painting over essentially. So that's not going to be a problem with it being done. And then yeah, one more thing. I realized that I didn't reach out to the Dollarmore School of Business delegation, every single senator within there. So once the design comes out on December 1st, I will be reaching out to every single senator in that delegation to get their opinions on it, because at the end of the day, it's them that are walking through that tunnel more so than people in other delegations. So I'll be doing that. If you choose not to give your opinion, that's fine. I just want to give you a choice because it's really more so for you. And I now, anybody else have anything? I now go to my time to questions.
The sponsors yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. Aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. The legislation is now adopted. All right. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBO 117-118, sponsored by Chairperson Doppolito and Chairperson Gopel, the recommendation to implement clear signage on trash and recycling.
The sponsors are recognized. Also, Chairman Matthews, if you could come talk to my staff really fast. I just have a question about your amendment. Want to make sure it's copied over correctly. Guys.
I apologize, I was professional. This piece of legislation is just to implement clear signage on trash cans and recycling bins so that we can ensure our sustainability efforts as a campus are moving forward. And like I said last time, this is going to be recycling bins that are already on campus. They just don't have time. We yield their time to questions.
The sponsors yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. Aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. The legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the... Did y'all figure it out or no? Do you need a recess? there a motion for a brief recess? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. This is gonna be like extremely brief. whatever is the correct amended piece should be introduced. Okay. All right. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBO 117-119, sponsored by the Academics Committee. The recommendation to explore developing an official relationship with Portugal to address student registration difficulties.
The Academics Committee is recognized.
Hello, everybody. So you've already kind of heard a bit about this piece, so I don't want to spend a bunch of time repeating myself, but let me just give you a second. Okay, so this is essentially asking the university to consider this. It's not like a do everything right now. Just looking at the idea of taking Forcicle, which is a piece of technology a lot of students are using to help fill the gap. We have where Schedule Planner used to exist and then just kind of poofed out of existence, to be something that we can possibly create some sort of relationship with that company. So possibly having a cheaper version of it for students so they can have those features that we can pay a fee for free for students, or something like that. Don't know what that relationship would look like, but just something like that. So that's with that. But with that, yield my time to questions.
The sponsors yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. The legislation is now adopted. Good job, y'all. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBO 117-120, sponsored by the Academics Committee. Recommendation to expand student advocacy's definition of immediate family for excused absence.
The sponsors are recognized again.
Giving Daniel 0.5 seconds to get up here. But this is, again, kind of gone over it some, but essentially just looking at the current existing absence policy and what the definition of immediate family currently is, which, just to refresh, is very explicit in that it only includes parent, spouse, child, sibling, spouse of sibling, grandparent, grandchild, or legal guardian as immediate family members for the point of excusing an absence. Those are, if a death happened, those would be the only groups of people that would be a excused absence coming from the Student Advocacy Center. Every other type of familial death, and or even a friend death would be considered something that you could get excused, but at the professor's discretion. This essentially would just be asking to expand that definition, so that way it is more reflective of both state law, and also looking at just general family dynamics nowadays, because a lot of people do not necessarily have just the nuclear family. So things like people who have foster siblings, foster parents, or even where they have a step parent that's not adopted them, but they are essentially guardianship, but not in the legal way. But yeah, with that, that will yield without questions.
The sponsors yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. This legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBO 117-122, sponsored by Chairperson Doppolito, a bill to update college rates.
Chairwoman Doppolito, you're recognized.
This bill is just to make sure that all the colleges are represented accurately under our delegation. Yield my time.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. This legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBO 117-123, sponsored by Chairperson Doppolito, a bill to amend Chapter 2, Article 3 and 4 of the code.
Chairwoman Doppolito, you are recognized.
This overall just condenses and clarifies the structure of the code. Yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. This legislation is now adopted. Is there a motion to omnibus SBL 117, 124, and 125? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117, 124 is sponsored by the Judiciary Committee, a bill to make finance language for
Both. Read
SBL
both titles.
117, 125 sponsored by the Judiciary Committee and Senator Jacobson, a bill to correct the two-thirds standard.
The sponsors are recognized.
These two bills are just to make sure that all the language is cohesive and the same in the finance code. I yield back on the question.
The sponsors yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote. And as a reminder, this is en bloc. So both pieces, if somebody was to have an issue with that, you would object when I say all those in favor. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. Both pieces are now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read. Hearing none, that completes the call of the uncontested legislation. We are now on the call of the contested legislation. The clerk will now read.
SBL 117, 117 sponsored by Senator Lewis, a recommendation to launch a study zone map of study and collaborative spaces on campus.
Senator Lewis, you are recognized. Chairwoman Diapolito. Oh, thank you for the reminder. Continuing on with the call of the contested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117, 121 sponsored by Senator Lewis, a recommendation for clearer accountability and enforcement of university housing policy.
Chairperson Koviak. There's been a motion to table SBL 117, 121 indefinitely. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The piece is tabled indefinitely. Continuing on with the call of the contested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 117, 126 sponsored by the Judiciary Committee, a bill to condemn practices.
The Judiciary Committee is recognized.
Just for clarification, this is on the contested calendar because of the amendment that was added by finance. The amendment that was added by finance, they went through it and some things that were struck off, like specific examples of a tournament or conference, they wanted to bring back just for clarification. And I believe there was a few other things like that that they just wanted in there for it to be very clear. Other than that, no other updates. I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Senator Jacobson? Just checking if somebody was to vote for, want to move to a period of debate, they would object at this time. Seeing no objections, there's been a motion to move to a voice vote on SBL 117, 126. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed. The ayes have it. The legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the contested legislation, the clerk will now read. Hearing none, that completes the call of the contested calendar. We are now in line for a period of open discussion. Does any senator wish to bring a matter of attention to the body? Seeing none. We are now in line for a period of announcements. Are there any announcements on the floor? Chairperson Koviak. Questions? Well, okay. We're still in a period of announcements. Are there any announcements on the floor? Seeing none, I just have like a really quick one, I promise. Good job. Like, honestly, round of applause to all of you guys today. It was great pieces, great uses of Robert's Rules of Motions. It's a really good sign that Senate's working efficiently when we finish this quickly. So please don't ever think that's a bad thing. That means that all of our pieces were properly vetted during committee. We figured out all the issues with them. We remedied them, and we had no further things to like discuss during Senate. So that is a really, really good thing. If you were emailed about a legislative update and you either didn't show up, which by the way, if you didn't show up, please make sure that you are me and Loren made time out of our days to make sure that we can meet with you guys. And so it's not fair to either of us if we're sitting there waiting on a Teams call or waiting in the LSC and you guys don't come and don't even text us. So please do not do that again. And if you didn't show up to one of my things, I would have contacted you. But if you did do your legislative meeting at all, you're going to get another email probably either tonight or tomorrow, just with more dates to sign up for. If for some reason none of those dates work for you, none of those times work for you, just text me or email Loren back and we should be able to find something to work. And then also, shameless plug, if you know me, I am obsessed with my grandparents and I love them so much. And my grandpa's watching tonight, so hey to my grandpa, I'll send you a picture. My dad sent me one, him and my dog Jasper are watching. But with that, I yield my time to questions. Are there any questions? Not to be confused with the Senator Jasper. Seeing no further questions, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? Without objection, the Senate will now stand adjourned until Wednesday, November 12th, 2025.